Yes, my people, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Reiss Beckford and welcome to another video. Today is going to be a training session with myself. Different type of video. Last few videos have been podcast episodes and I put out on my Instagram over the Easter weekend what you guys wanted to see as I was making a real return to the YouTube. Vlogs, training videos, tutorials, educational stuff. So super happy to be finally back. Today we have a full body session, but upper body focused. I'm currently running a 3-day-a-week training program, 3 full body sessions, plus some quote unquote high rocks type of workouts. I am doing a high rocks. I'm doing high rocks London with one of the members at the Foundry, the gym that I work at, which is in a couple of weeks. So this week is going to be my last week of pushing in my training sessions, and then next week will be a taper / peak week, going into high rocks at the weekend. For guys that have been following me for a decent amount of time, you will know that I'm not a runner. But the other exercises I do very much enjoy. So doing a high rocks is going to be super different to what you guys will normally see or how I normally train. And it's been relatively enjoyable, dare I say. Understanding a little bit more about running, pacing, how it makes me feel, and how I can incorporate into my training a little bit more. Will I do that post high rocks? I'm not too sure yet, as I do enjoy doing other conditioning stuff as well as my weight training. So like I said, today is day 2 of the training program. We have a upper body focus full body session. We've got a little bit of a warm up, then we've got low incline barbell bench press with some half kneeling single arm pull downs and some banded Cuban rotations for that shoulder. Then we're going to go into a feet elevated ring push up. We've got a chest supported row and then a superset of seated curls and some tricep extensions. So saying that it is full body, it is an upper body day. So my coach has actually given me an upper body day, as tomorrow will be our last day of doing a high rocks mini simulation, I believe. Or I might have some running intervals, not quite sure. And then Friday will be another session. So yeah, follow along. First things first, it's gonna be a bit of a warm up, then we're gonna get into the session. So first things first, we are going to start off with a little bit of air bike, just to get nice and warm, get the blood pumping around the body, get the mind right, as they say. One reason I like to use the air bike, because it is a little bit more full body, so you've got your legs and arms going. Also get to, you know, warm up your rib cage a little bit, get moving. I've been on my feet most of the morning coaching, and then spend a little bit of time at the computer, so I've been sitting down. So it'll be nice to get a little bit of rotation in my body under some extremely light loads before going into some upper body stuff. So first things first, we're gonna do 3 to 5 minutes on the air bike. So after a little bit of a pulse raiser, getting nice and warm, I've done a little bit of mobility for my shoulders, hips, back, that type of stuff. Now we're gonna go on to a little bit of a primer, get the central nervous system going, produce a little bit of power so that when we go on to the lifting stuff, we're pumped and ready to go. When it's an upper body day, I normally stick to 2 or 3 primer type exercises. Exercise number 1 is like a chest pass to the wall with a med ball. You don't wanna go too heavy. 3 or 6 is good enough. It's about producing as much power as possible, not about how heavy you can go. You can do that against the wall, or you can do it as a chest ball slam, hinged over. And then number 2 is normally a TRX row, just to get the upper back, lats, biceps going as well. So exercise number 1 is going to be a chest pass. So you're going to keep the med ball nice and close, keep your feet nice and still. There's a few variations you can do, but today we're going to do it with our feet nice and still. From here, you're literally going to push the ball as hard as you can into the wall and catch it on the way back as it bounces on the floor. About 5 reps, 3 to 5 reps. Again, it's about producing as much power as possible. It's not about doing as many reps as you can. For that, option number 2 would be, if you don't have a wall, hinge over the hips, keep the back nice and flat, med ball to the chest, and you're gonna do exactly the same to the floor. There are your 2 options for exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 is going to be a TRX row or an inverted row. You can use a barbell or you can use suspension trainers like this. You're just going to go into an inverted position and then pull hands to your armpits, keeping your body nice and flat. So that's exercise number 2. If you feel like that it's a little bit too difficult, then go a little bit more upright. It will decrease the difficulty, make it a little bit easier. Again, here, we're not trying to go as heavy or as hard as we can. We're still trying to just get nice and warm, get the muscles moving in the plane of motion that we're going to be using for the bulk of the session. So, I would normally do 2 to 3 rounds of those 2 exercises or 3 exercises before setting up my bench. Sometimes I set up the bench whilst I am actually doing those 2 exercises, save a little bit of time. So today we have low incline, which means 1 notch, which is around 15 degrees of incline. That looks about right. On the seated part of the bench, I actually like to tip it up just 1 notch. So I feel like I've got a little bit more support and I'm not slipping down. So what I'm doing here, just a little breakdown of setup. I want to set up with my eyes in line with the bar. I'm starting about just outside of shoulder width. Mine's a little bit wider as that's my preferred grip. I'm thinking about keeping my feet nice and flat and pushing into the bench. If I was going to push really, really hard, I'd feel like I'm pushing myself up the bench like so. Keep tension there. Keep those shoulder blades back and down. Push into the bench. Unrack. I'm going to bring the bar to the mid chest and then back up. I want to think about bringing the bar to the highest point of your chest to give you the best leverages, able to press the most amount of weight. So we're going to warm up here, nice and controlled. To be honest, don't really count the reps. So we'll just go until I feel nice and warm. What we'll do is we'll slowly increase the weight until we get to a working set. I believe that I've got 3 sets of 3 between 97.5 and 105. So we'll see how that goes. After my last warm up, I'll then warm up the other 2 exercises, which is going to be a single arm, half kneeling pull down. Then we've got banded Cuban rotations. So let's get nice and warm. So I'm also actually going to get a couple of warm-up sets into my exercise number 2, just so I can get the most out of my working sets. So I've only got 3 working sets. So I want to go into it knowing exactly what weight I'm going to use. And that will also help me be a little bit more time efficient. So I actually reduce the amount of reps that I'm doing as I build up to my working sets, just to save energy. As I get heavier, I like to feel the weight, not do too many reps, and then go into my working set. So that was 80. I'm gonna try my first set at 100. Last week I did do 97.2 and it wasn't quite the right RPE, so I think I got a little bit more in the tank and I had a good night's sleep, so I'm gonna go for that. So that was 80. We're gonna do a 90 for a single as a warm-up, and then we're gonna go for my first set. Final warm-up here. Depending on how this moves, we will decide our first working weight, which is 90 kg. That felt pretty good. We'll go for it. First set at 100. So low incline barbell bench press, working set number 1, 100 kilos. Happy with that. So first working set, exercise number 2, half kneeling, single arm, pull down. Yes, I am using straps because I don't want my grip to be my limiting factor. I'm about to lift as much weight as possible without having to worry about my grip, so using straps to help along with that goal. So don't be afraid to use straps. Oh, here we go. And then exercise number 3, seated Cuban rotation. Keep those elbows up nice and high. Just a bit. Elbows up nice and high, in line with your shoulders from here. We're gonna rotate from the shoulders, hands above the head. Oh, God. Don't let the bands fool you, people. When done correctly, they can be super beneficial. So that's 1 set done. 2 more to go. So that's part 1 done. 3 exercises in a giant set. We now got a super set. We've got ring push-ups with our feet elevated. So I've got a bench here, the one that I'm sitting on. And then we've got chest supported row. Again, another heavy dumbbell exercise. So let's get on with it. And then we've got some arms after that. So not long left, let's get it. So hands elevated push-up, feet elevated push-up, sorry, on the rings. Takes me back to my gymnastics days. I feel quite comfortable on these bad boys. Obviously the rings are going to create a little bit of instability, as they'll be a moving bit of equipment. So not only have I got to stabilize whilst I'm doing push-ups or pressing horizontally, I've got to also press horizontally and push up, and then also with my feet being elevated adds another bit of difficulty by increasing the load by pushing me forwards. So a lot going on here. I'm going to go for 10 to 12 reps. So let's see how the first set goes. Not too bad. Definitely can feel it more in my front delt than I can in my chest due to the angle that I'm at. Definitely can feel the instability of the rings, but if I'm doing gymnastics, feel pretty comfortable there. So 12 is quite a few reps, but happy with that first set. So exercise number 2 here is going to be dumbbell chest supported rows. So unlike the ring push-up, we're using the bench and supporting our chest to actually increase stability rather than reduce the stability. So this should allow you to lift a little bit more to some extent in terms of external load, just because you are stabilized by an external force, which will be the bench. The most difficult part of a dumbbell chest supported row is actually getting the dumbbells into the right position. Again, I'm using straps. If to lift as much load as possible is your goal, do not allow your grip to be your limiting factor. Use straps to allow you to lift that heavier weight. You don't have to worry about your grip. What's the word I'm looking for? Don't have to worry about your grip failing you to some extent, or again, like I said, being your limiting factor. So use straps. But like I said, the hardest bit is actually getting the dumbbells in the right position. Because normally what happens is you can do one side and then doing the other side can be quite difficult. But if you've got straps like I have, you don't actually have to worry about holding the dumbbell. The straps will hold the dumbbell for you. So you're not actually using any extra energy. So on those, what I'm thinking about is actually bringing the dumbbells from here, so from hanging down to my hip, rather than pulling up towards my rib cage. I'm actually thinking about bringing the dumbbells towards my hip and making the dumbbells do a little bit of an arc motion rather than moving directly vertical up and down. This allows me to engage my lat a little bit more. I can feel it a little bit more in my lat. Feeling the muscle work doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting more activation, but I can actually feel that sensation a little bit better. I do what would be considered, I guess, upper back rows, where you're pulling a little bit more vertically, but I do that on a different day. So make sure you spread your movement patterns out on your back throughout your week. I train full body. This is slightly different because I'm doing an upper body day due to high rocks in a few weeks, in 2 weeks-ish. Usually train full body, so I'm able to spread my movement patterns out throughout the week. So yeah, little tip, make sure you do upper back rows and lat rows. So that is block 2 done. We've now got 2 more exercises, 1 more superset to finish some arms. Everybody loves finishing on a bit of arms, so let's get that done and let's wrap up this session. So exercise number 1 on this last superset, we have seated bicep curls, and exercise 2, we have cross-body cable tricep extensions. We've got 3 sets here, and we're done. So gang, that is the session done. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you like this type of content on my channel, then please do drop a comment, let me know, and I'll be able to provide a little bit more of this type of content. Make sure you are following me on Instagram to keep up to date with what I'm doing. Make sure you go and like and share the podcast on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcasts. I do have some online coaching spaces available, only a few left for the summer period. So if you are interested in doing some online fitness coaching with me, whether you are looking to drop body fat, build muscle, or you are looking to improve your performance within sport, then just drop me a DM on Instagram. Just drop me the word coaching, and I'll know that you've come from YouTube and come from this video. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I've enjoyed making this video, and I'll hopefully see you guys very soon. Take it easy, team.